This is an introduction to realizing the quantum self. Um, I mean, so many traditions have talked about this concept of self-realization. And we know we're here. We're like, well, this is me. But no, there's a lot more to you than meets the eye. And anybody I think who I've worked with, and certainly my long journey of many, many years, I think this is my 45th year of digging in. um, I just keep discovering more and more, and I still see like, wow, I got a ways to go, but it's a fun way. It's like, wow, I'm really like, this is going to be really even more interesting than it has been. So realizing yourself is kind of a double entendre. It means realizing that you have a quantum self, which really is an energy body, and this is more influence on your life than you can believe, really. So we just think we're solid state here, but really honestly we're 99.999% space if you really look at what we're made up of. So so really we are quantum, but we appear and we feel and we sense, and everything makes us all feel very dense. So that's one version of realizing yourself. And that might be a little s self, but also we're in the process as spiritual beings. And that means everybody who's here, regardless of whether they seem to be practicing or not, they came here to have a journey. So this process of realizing and actualizing the quantum self, and that's a capital S, means that the self, meaning the self that realizes, like aha, and can never go back. I am the one. I am one. The one is me. I am one. And once you hit that, you can't go back. So ask yourself right now, why now? Why are you ready after all these years of preparation to really wake up to who you are as a manifestation of the one? Like, I know you all have done some kind of work, either questioning within or healing work, or you meditate or something like that. You're attracted to being here tonight for some reason. So why? I think one of the reasons is the planet needs us to wake up now. We got a crisis on our hands, everybody. We got a planet that if we don't take care of it, it's not going to be around for maybe us, but definitely our kids or grandkids. And this is my primary concern in doing this work. Primary concern. So we move on. In other words, this is training to wake up and smell the coffee about who you really are as an energetic being and why you are here at this moment. And again, ever think about why here, why now? And why can't it be fun? And something that is done with others. Spiritual practice was often presented as this, really, really heavy duty thing. And you have to renounce the world and you have to, be really serious. And you have to meditate all the time and, only eat a certain way. I mean, you know what? Not necessarily so. And it's just, the world's not going to work that way anymore. It just isn't. We're called householders. So that's why it's a club. So you're not alone on your journey. So in this way, I want to tell you one thing. I will not consider you students. I will consider you practitioners, because I want to empower you to engage, practice, and contribute to the group as well as to the world. Okay, so you can't just come here and take notes and go, oh, that's really interesting knowledge. No, you have to go, whoa, interesting. Okay. All right, I'm going to practice this. Or I say, here's the next exercise, and you have to take some time and do it. It can't be just this. It's got to be this. It's got to be the whole kit and caboodle. Okay, so who am I to be teaching you? Uh, here's my bio. Okay, so really simply, hang on a second. I'm going to see if I can do that. Okay, so after being Catholic for 18 years, and I actually kind of liked it. I went to Catholic school, and I like this whole idea that there was a God. And I liked the people that I went to school with. We've stayed very close, over these many, many years. But as soon as I got out of school, I'm like, hey, I'm done. And as soon as I saw that sign, Learn to Meditate, TM, I'm like, I signed up. I had no money at all. And I took the little money I had, I signed up. TM initiated, 18 years old. And it was amazing. I had some amazing experiences that right away blew me away. Like if I meditated and went and did a sport, it was magical. And that really impressed me as a young person. Then my mother's best friend was involved in a very serious and a really awesome meditation group in LA that was a planetary healing group. So I got drawn into that magically, not by her, but somebody else found me in Santa Barbara. And we meditated every Friday night for 11 years. And then I moved on because I was living up here. It was too much to drive to LA every Friday night. Studied with various teachers on the shamanic path. So Carlos Castaneda, Florinda Donner, Lynn Andrews, Brooke Medicine Eagle, Harvey Swift Deer. These were all people who were influencers during my time and really were kind of opening us up to to a huge influence from Carlos Castaneda. Even though the books may be fiction, he was channeling some amazing information that I have worked with and found to be very true over these many years. The people on the medicine path really taught me the sanctity of the earth and how we have to honor her and very, very much be present in our engagement with her and as well as humanity. And then I studied various healing modalities through the chiropractic realms, which is TBM and AK for physical healing. And that led me to develop my panharmonic healing technology. And we'll kind of touch in that. That's something I use in my practice, but there's pieces of it that I'm going to use in the Immortality Club because it's so important, so powerful to know that. And then been a chiropractor for 40 years and, have a kind of a holistic practice. And then when I moved to Santa Barbara, I was asked to start teaching meditation. Here I was 28 years old and I just sat down and started doing it. And that's kind of been my life. Someone asks me to teach and I just go, well, okay. And then it's there. The information is there. Okay, so I was also heavily engaged in the arts. So I was a theater major in school. So wrote, directed, acted, and produced 10 performances in LA and in Santa Barbara, and developed something called Sacred Theater, which I taught, and wrote and recorded music for a couple of albums with this beautiful group of women that I was singing with, and painting and drawing. And so the arts definitely meant so much to me because they were an entry point into that kind of creative self that I couldn't quite define. And then I was really called to many, many sacred sites all over the world during this small period of time. It just opened up. Thank God it was then because we couldn't be doing that now. So those sacred sites were really initiatory for many of the openings that I had and many of the downloads. Yeah. Just after each one of those journeys, just something would turn a 90-degree corner. And then, I've been involved in the yoga world too, which I think is profound in that it really connects the quantum into the physical body through a long tradition. Okay, so now why the Immortality Club? And it's a long story. It begins in 1988 with a powerful and strange experience that happened to me on Gibraltar Road. I will not go into that now. But I will say that after that experience, within a day, I was initiated into this this thing, which I can only call downloading. And I was called to sit in front of the computer, and then boom, it was like a heavy feeling on my head. And then I would just sit and be quiet, and then I would start seeing things that would help heal my patients. So I came up with a lot of those things, and immediately those kind of patients would come into my office. It was like the universe going, okay, we want you to trust this. So look, here's this, this, and this. And so I started developing a relationship with this downloading. And in addition, I had learned muscle testing, and I had learned to muscle test on myself. So I could ask a yes and no question and get a yes or no. So that became a huge thing. And that's what I want to teach you. I want to teach you to muscle test on yourself so you can get an answer like that. Okay, so that's one of the things we're going to be covering. So what happened over the next 5 years from 88 all the way through, I think, till 92, during the spring of every year, I get 3 months of 2 hours a day, 5 days a week of downloading. And so it went from the physical to physiological, emotional, mental, and then it started going energetic, and then it started going into kind of shamanic, and then it started going very uber spiritual, and it started going into all the spiritual teachers and really creating a map for a human to become realized. A very powerful map that I'm still deciphering to this day and sharing with people. And it's, my original version of it was, you know, in my very old computer, etc. And then I'd have it printed up, and I still use this same manual that was printed in 99. I still use it. So this is called the Book of Unfoldment. And again, I'll say we're going to pull from that at different times. In 2005, a second series of downloads began on a daily basis. And there's going to be more about that basis. But really what happened on New Year's Day, I was meditating. I think I was up in Carmel Valley. And these symbols appeared to me. And I'm like, okay, yeah, what's this? And then I started recognizing the voices, if you can call it that. I don't hear voices. I hear things, but there's not a voice connected to it. It's hard to, it's like a auditory knowingness. And so these 5 symbols explained to me, and let me see if I think I even have them right here. I made a little shield. I don't know if you can see that. There might be a glare on it, but they appeared to me in a certain configuration. They said, we're your guidance system, but we're frequencies. And what they were avatars that I knew of. I mean, there was the Christ and the Buddha and Gaia, and then a couple other ones that I didn't really know. It took me a long time to kind of get their names because I hadn't heard them before. But once we started getting this information, then for a couple of years, I started, when I would go for hikes, my arms started moving because I was used to doing movements through the Carlos Castaneda work. They had a whole development of tensegrity that was, you could spend all day doing it. It was very, very, very powerful. So these downloads came, and then we went to Egypt. And when we got back, the downloads started organizing themselves into these daily meditations using 3 of the 20 avatars symbols. They'd appear to me, and then I'd get information. I'd go write a blog, and then I'd share that via email with people. And so that went on for a while. And then eventually we started organizing those to help clear world illusion. So I'm not going to go into any more about that, but that was really the beginning of what I would call the Immortality Club information starting to come through. And there were kind of a fluctuating group of people that would come. I see that Lily's here today. And she was definitely one of the members that would come and be an active part of that. So in 2008, we had built this pavilion in our backyard, we call the Pavilion. And then this fabulous group would meet and I would teach them these movements. Well, the movements were meant for us as a group to ground these avatar frequencies into the planetary field so that humans like us could have the Christ energy come through us. Boom. Could have the Buddha energy come through us. Boom. And what we later found out is that you realize that Jesus got Christed and Siddhartha got Buddha'd. So this is a normal thing if we open to it. So these movements then became a very powerful part of our work. And then they evolved into the mudras. And in our work continued on for many years beyond that. And then about 2013, 2014, a number of family things started happening. 3 parent deaths, a dog death, just stresses all across the board. And so it was time to take time off and deal with those. And after so many years, I think it was in 16, then I started getting the call. And in 15, I heard this thing. You got to call it the Immortality Club. And I'm like, what? Yeah, the Immortality Club. That's all I heard. So I went and got the URL, did nothing for about a year and a half. And then finally people started asking me, when are you going to teach? When are you going to teach? So here we all are. You're all at different stages. However, if you're here tonight and you remain with us, this is perfect timing for you. That's all we can say. I don't have 3 years to train you. The planet doesn't have 3 years for you to be trained. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take the most powerful lesson and condense it. We're going to do the same format of only 4 hours a month. 2 hours at Thursday nights and 2 hours on a Saturday. And we might expand that Saturday out for some of the bigger things that I used to teach workshops in, for those who want to do that. Okay. Give you the basics, but if you want to really learn this, and this, and then we'll continue on Saturdays. It's just 1 Saturday a month. This is not a course to study. It's a training to train you to be quantum practitioners. So it's not just quantum light, it's quantum essence, it's quantum feeling, it's quantum beingness. It's actually being able to move in the quantum and actually work with the underlying structures that are creating this reality for you right now. And that can help your health, your mental well-being, as well as your spiritual growth and accelerating just speed of light. Okay. If the IC feels like a match for your current life, we'll make this journey together. I'll give you the practices. It's up for you to engage, practice, and do the work. What I'm noticing with our first pod, and we have 2 members of our first pod here tonight, is that pod came together and over time really helped each other behind my back. I find out, oh, really? And I mean, but they would call each other and say, I can help you with that. Really beautiful, sweet, really each person bringing kind of their presence and expertise, and so much heart and so much spiritual power there. Okay, so we all have a choice. You can choose or live in limitation, which is what we all do anyway, right? Or you can accelerate your evolutionary path to self-realize. Now, we don't judge people who choose limitation, because this is the world we chose to come into. This is the density realm. I call this density reality. So we don't judge those people. But if we choose the path to accelerate towards self-realization, then it actually becomes our duty to help anybody we can. It's not a duty, it's a calling. That's all I can say. The goal being to be, the goal of all of this is to be who you truly are and to experience every moment as either a lesson to be learned or a blessing that was earned. Okay? So as you go along, man, that feels so hard. And the hardest things that I've gone through physically, emotionally, mentally, when I got to the other side, I was like, oh my golly, that was such a blessing. Because in order to heal it, I had to go quantum. And I had to have that experience that taught me about another thing about the quantum realms that I could then bring back and share with my people, with the posse. We're going to call them the posse. Okay, so now we're gonna stream through this. Now I'm going to tell you, it's great to take notes. However, and I want you to, because I want you to write things down. Like, oh yeah, I like that. I also am going to send you a complete set of notes from tonight. And if you just take these notes, you don't even come ever, you're not, well, that's not really my thing. But you read through those notes over and over again and call in the thing, the path that's right for you. This is the map right here. I'm going to share with you the map, okay? And I've gotten this download and then from a few really great teachings from other practices. Okay, so first thing, we're going to delineate and provide experiences that illustrate your underlying energetic configuration as a spiritual being in human form. Who the heck are you, human, right? We think we're human, but we're actually quantum beings having a human experience that we chose to do. We chose to be here. And we chose to be here at this time. I'm going to reveal techniques that provide the extra energy needed to prolong life, relieve suffering, provide service to others, and assist in actualizing your true nature and purpose while creating community. We're not here to do it alone. Believe me. Third, we're going to deconstruct limited assumptions about this reality and provide experiences that will open doors to expanded consciousness. And that equals more success in life, more success in living, more joy, more joy, more joie de vivre, in experiencing what we have here. We're going to create awareness of the obstacles to evolution. Some of them have nothing to do with you. They're just here. And we have to be made aware of them. And we're going to provide processes to clear them. Faster evolution, because you're needed at your full capacity now. 5, create a clear path to actualization. And there are tried and true steps. And then 6, prepare the practitioner for assisting others in their actualization process. So it's called spreading the love, right? So in other words, sometimes some of you will go on and become teachers of some kind, or we will work together as we did as our opening prayer tonight. We'll work together, especially in our new and full moon, which have been extraordinarily powerful. We'll work together to create change in the quantum, you see, and then it will, and then it will shift into density. And we will, and I'm not going to get into it now. I've told the story before, but I've seen absolute proof that this works on a planetary level. Okay, so the Immortality Club is all about realizing that everything that comes to us is for us. Okay, I've said a lesson or a blessing. In other words, it's about turning the lessons into knowledge and blessings into confirmation that we got it. The bigger the lesson, the greater the shift in consciousness. If we have the energy to track the lesson, very key here, very key. If we have the energy to track the lesson that we're creating. To track those darn lessons, there's a lot to consider. Okay, and so here's the 6 orders for realization. Rules of engagement. First order, understand who and what you are energetically. Okay, well, I don't really know what that means. Realize you're an energetic being existing on many dimensions, believe it or not. Consciously creating yourself in 3D density reality as a human. Once you get in this work, you're going to go at one point, you're going to go, oh, right. Expand awareness to include your ability to perceive your multidimensionality in the dream body, the continuum of time space that's like all you have been, that continuum that goes back through your life, maybe past lives, etc., etc. The 5th dimensional body as well, believe it or not, parallel worlds, parallel universes. Firsthand, seen this, have healed phenomenal things from those worlds. Boom, instantaneous. More about that later. Discover all the components of your energetic body to create health, evolution, and spiritual presence. And of course, oneness within yourself. Oneness as your consciousness. Discover your true soul purpose and its relationship to assisting others to wake up, as well as sharing the consciousness on our planet. Second order, understand your relationship with immortality. You're like, well, Val, everybody dies. Yeah, they transition to another state, but they're immortal. And by understanding and accepting your immortality, it changes your relationship with death. And there'll be more about that later. So in this second order, you register your intent of immortality. Are you willing to accept this configuration of immortality, body, mind, and spirit? Or do you want to buy into this whole fallible human story? It doesn't mean that you might not transition, but if you buy into like this whole thing, then it's fear-based. So we want to start opening to who and what we are as immortal beings. Align yourself with the intent of immortality, with or without a body. So the intent of immortality is the intent of oneness. So that which created this whole amazing realm, this whole world, this density, everything, it is immortal, as far as we know. Learn to reach through the web of all possible universes to the one that holds the frequency of mortality. So that's aligning with the oneness. Reconfigure your expectations of reality to include higher dimensions, 5th, 6th dimensional worlds that it's inhabited by immortal beings. I call this a new earth. For the first time in my life, I'm seeing the new earth. And that's another whole story. But I now have hope and faith that we can do a big uptick. But we need us to do our uptick to get the whole thing to uptick, is what I'm seeing. Align with all manifestations of immortal expression and pull them into this current manifestation. Engage with the intent, I am immortal, daily. Every day when I wake up, I'm immortal. I'm eternal. I am one with the one. I am the light. Those are just some of the things that I say. I do not get out of bed without saying, this is how I'm going to do my day. And since I've been doing it, much more effective in my work and in everything I do. Third order, align with the divine and higher intelligence. So we acknowledge that we have limitation here. So we have limitation in affecting change on the planet. But if you've been to our full moon meditations, you can feel like these energies are like, yes, we will come in and we will work through you. And many of you have felt that energy and felt that experience, that thing happen inside of you. And know, without knowing how you know, that it's moving out onto the planet. So acknowledge that source intends your expression of consciousness. Your soul intends this life path, and your quantum body is the non-physical expression of your evolutionary intent to evolve that is subsequently fuels and shapes your body. So what that means is there's this thing that's happening inside of you. You're here tonight because you want to be better. You want to be more. You want to know, what is that? What is that? I've got the spiritual thing. It's just this yearning. You know you have to do the work. You can feel it. Okay. We're born with that. It's normal. So then from there, you learn to align energetically with this accelerating wave of evolution generated from the origin of the universe. And guess what I saw the other day? The Earth's rotation is speeding up. They're having to make adjustments on the atomic clock. It's a tiny amount, but it is going faster now than it's ever gone. They have a way of measuring it to the absolute millisecond, and it's speeding up. And Einstein himself says, the planet, this moving out from the Big Bang is accelerating. They found that by their measurements. So we know there's this huge wave of evolution. And I'm guessing that this COVID thing, which I've seen this wave and the COVID and keep talking about it, somehow it figures into that. The other thing is open gateways to the divine. So that could just be as simple as, okay, Jesus, I give you my life and, make me a whole person. I mean, that's valid. Buddha, Buddha. Those paths, if people live them with integrity and impeccability, they lead to this path of realization. It's just sometimes humans use those things to get what they want, to get power. We want you to have immediate access to the frequencies that are able to train you to actualizing your immortal self. In other words, if you sat here and tried to figure things out on your own, you can't do it in your brain. We need divine frequencies, and we need higher intelligence. And that higher intelligence is becoming more and more available to groups like us. Therefore, you realize and actualize your divine purpose. Like, why did I get here? And as you do that, the lessons come in a more gorgeous way. If you're living your purpose, healer, artist, teacher, worker, doesn't matter. If you're living what you came here to do in a way that's wholesome, you're going to start to realize more and more your divine purpose here and actualize that divinity through you. All for the idea to upgrade this reality to a new earth. Okay. Fourth order, gather extra energy. This is key. This is what the Immortality Club wants to share with you, wants to teach you. All the practices that have come through me, I've learned the ideas from a few places, but then they've been really tailored. These ancient, some of them practices are very ancient, but they've been tailored for the modern person, because you're a modern person. I know you all. You're not sitting in a cave. Om, Shanti, Om, Om. You're out there working, or doing your best to be out there working to provide for yourself and your family. So what we've learned is that we've got to gather extra energy in order to accelerate this evolution. And these practices are there to as an offering for that. In order to do this, you have to understand entropy, which is, second law of thermodynamics. If you don't put energy into something, it falls to ruin. Basically what it says. You leave a room, you close it up, it gets dusty, right? In 100 years, things rot. Food rots, trees come and go. This is how it is. It's called entropy, and it's in the whole universe. And entropy is really that thing. It's that winding down, and that cells getting tired, and you leave the physical body of the planet. We want to gather energy from many sources to counter this entropic tendency that we experience here in density reality. We want to gain access to additional sources of energy that can be utilized to evolve, manifest, and transcend human limitation, as well as assist others in transcending. In other words, you need extra energy to manifest things. Like even this work, which I've taught before, I had to gather energy to really put this presentation together for you all tonight in the clearest way possible. It makes sense. From there, you understand, learn, and manipulate the forces of entropy versus evolution, acceleration in time space. Care for and energize the physical body with this extra energy as a vehicle for immortality. Realize the need to fuel the energy body towards reconfiguration from physical entropic to light essence realized. And I'm going to tell you, really honestly, one of my biggest lessons in life is I had Epstein-Barr for about 15 years, and then it was kind of went underground, and then I through all these practices, it made me clear so many things just to be able to get up in the morning and live. And so it was my guru, it was my teacher. But doing this work, I have the most energy at my age than I've ever had in my whole life. More energy, more focus, more joy. I'm laughing more than I've ever laughed. Finally, in gathering that extra energy, you fuel your immortality vessel daily with the practices. Okay, and some of these practices are like this, and some are they're more in doing this. Okay, fifth order. Handle the energetic drains, right? What drains energy from you? Stress, bad news, past emotional traumas that you haven't gotten over. So the ego is the reactionary self, and it's a deterrent to your personal presence. In other words, here you are, you're feeling fine, and then something happens and you go crazy. You're out of presence. So some of the things that I'm going to teach is how to mitigate the ego in the moment. So the next step is acknowledge that ego and personality disorders, they actually contribute to world Maya. And Maya is defined as illusion. And what's illusion? Illusion is this kind of thick energy that keeps us separate from who we really are. Carlos Castaneda used to talk about it as the wall of fog. And he'd get through the wall of fog, and he would be in this other reality, this quantum reality. I mean, it blew him away. And he had a hard time remembering what happened there, because when he came back through the wall, he'd lose it. And he'd spent years doing the practices so he could get enough energy to remember what happened over there. Next thing is you commit to releasing your personal Maya configurations that came from your negative human experiences, aka your personal story. More on that. I'm going to give you techniques for that. Clear energetic drains, past emotions, terrible memories, leeches, invaders, unresolved dimensional drags, parallel world battles, etc., etc. There are many things that you don't see that are pulling on you and actually influencing the way you think and feel. We're going to learn about that more in the second trimester. But also this includes deconstructing limiting beliefs, constructs, and paradigms. Okay, I'm not good enough, right? Where are you going to get in the world with that? I'm not good enough, right? So these are all things that we have programs, and we have ways of recognizing it and then dealing with it succinctly. Becoming aware of and resolving the components of the human configuration in order to accelerate personal evolution into divinity. This is a whole workshop called the corridor that I do. And I'm hoping that on a Saturday, I'll teach you the basics for 2 hours. And then whoever is willing to sign up and go for hours after that, then I'll take you through the whole human configuration. It's quite fascinating. Resolve the dream of duality and suffering, right? Duality, and suffering. And that's kind of what's defining density reality now. And finally, the sixth order. You must engage, you must practice, and you must realize the lessons as they come to you. So you must engage with some practice every day that helps you align your 3D vehicle with your evolving quantum vehicle. Now, meditation will do this. It's wonderful. That's a great start. It may help you to have additional practices where you actually go, oh my gosh, that thing I just saw is what's making me feel this way. And many stories around that. Okay, access external energy sources utilized for renewal, productivity, and acceleration daily. And it could just be like, I am powerful, I am present, I am here. Those are called mentations or declaratives. Okay, so you declare the I am of what you are, and it takes you out of like meh and into presence. Engage with the intent, immortal, eternal, and one with the one daily. We learn to do that. That's a whole initiation. Stay in presence, aligned with the intent of source for you to evolve. You as the one to evolve so that you can remember and be one again. Like, no questions asked. I am the one. I am one, right? Learn, study, engage in practices outlined in the Immortality Club. Now, this does not say, you can't go to church or you can't go and meditate with those people over there. There's nothing that says, there's nothing exclusive about the Immortality Club. It is a training to allow you to get way, way more out of your life. Okay, so winding down here, thank you all for your presence. First trimester, we're going to meet second Thursdays and fourth Saturdays in the morning, 10 a.m. And this is so that the people on the East Coast get to be with us like it would be their time 1. So 1 to 3 and maybe later. Classes are 2 hours. And as I said, there's going to be possibly some add-ons. And these used to be 1.5 day workshops before COVID. I will provide homework and class notes after class because I want you to get a special notebook. This one is absolutely full now. Lots. It's like it's been everywhere around the world. I take it everywhere I go and I draw on it. I think that it's good to get one without lines and I get a felt pen so that it's easy to make these drawings. And, this is my most treasured thing that I have. Like the most treasured thing that I own is this. Yeah. To actually draw things and write things down, go, oh, I like that, and to make notes actually helps you kind of get it. And then just so you didn't miss anything, I've already made notes for this class, and I'm going to send it to everybody who was here. We're going to build a field together that is meant to enhance your experience of learning experientially on the quantum level. In other words, I'm not going to go blah, 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 see you later. We're going to have exercises and experiences the best we can over Zoom, not being in my beloved Om Pavilion, which is, has had thousands of meditations and experiences there. And someday when this is all over, maybe I'll come from all parts of the country, and we will meet there and we will have an awesome, awesome experience there. And I myself will be intending for this information to get embodied in your vehicle. In other words, when we work, I hold space and I keep expanding until I get everybody included, and I hold space until I feel that everybody's gotten it, the field's gotten it. And sometimes you're just really tired and you're not getting it up here, but you've gotten it here. Or you go out, you don't remember a thing, but you know that something happened. That's okay. It's actually okay. I'm just going to breeze through this because I know we've been at this for about an hour. Okay, we're doing pretty well, kind of on time. So yeah, I'll elaborate a little bit. So the first class is in initiating and enhancing intuition. And what I hope to do is show you the very first, the second spiritual technique I was ever taught, which is creating a central channel. And it used to take me it took me maybe 6 months, and things have speeded up. I think if you really want to do it, you can do it in like 6 days if you want. Create this channel. So we're going to do that. I'm going to do my best to show you how to muscle test. What goes into muscle testing so that it can be accurate. Now, many of you have had me muscle test on you. And what you don't know is that I'm muscle testing super fast. I'm kind of scanning through things. And now I don't even have to muscle test, because when I get a yes, it's almost like it just happens. So practice creates this channel where you can just stop and empty and just get your answer like that. And that's what I want for you. Now, some of this will require another part where your etheric body is going to need to have some alignments. And so we're going to do those over the Zoom. They're really easy. I just muscle test for all of us. And then and then I can do the corrections, or you can rub the points, and I will send you those notes. And a lot of the points you don't even have to muscle test for. You can just, do the points on yourself and get a tune up in 5 minutes. Get yourself here, especially if you've had a shock or you're overwhelmed, you're like this, you're not getting things. You can do these points on yourself and tune your etheric body like that. So that'll be the first, and we'll do some meditating on that. We'll do some practices, and maybe do a little energy work on the planet if we have time. That'll be 7 to 9. And for those of you that's 7 to 9 means midnight out there. I will be recording these and making them available for a short period of time, and then I'm going to try to archive them on a YouTube channel. Second one, this is super, super, super important, is activating energetic protection. So after we came back from Egypt, oh my gosh, there's a lot of like crazy little energies there, because it's so old and those temples have, so many things have happened there. And so we came back and people started kind of going, I think there's something, and it wasn't like a creepy thing. It was just a hanger on, or, people were getting that weird feeling in the back of their neck. So we got 6 months lessons in energetic protection. So I'm going to take you through those, not in 6 months. We're going to take you through that on a Saturday. And we're going to really encourage good boundaries. And I'm going to encourage you to shift from being, some of you are empaths, to compaths. That's my new word, compaths. That's compassionate and being present with someone, but not taking on their stuff. We do not take on other people's stuff anymore. 2 people suffering instead of 1. Don't need it. Okay. 3, initiating the quantum awareness. So we're going to give you a little lesson in the dimensions and what that what that is, what that means, like what's 1D, what's 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D. What are those things and why do we even care? Why do we even care? The next one will be a Saturday, and this will possibly have an add-on if people are interested. These are energy gathering experiences for evolution, healing, and actualization. And these will be the Crystallis code that I was speaking of, and movements and applications of those, how to use those movements. And I'll teach you some really simple ones. And then if people are like, ooh, yeah, I want to learn more, then we'll do a second segment. And I have a PowerPoint presentation on that. And then I'll step away and we'll do the movements. And I might even put you all on a huge screen so that I can see how you're doing. I'd really like to see you big that way. Okay, 5, initiating the avatar frequencies into your personal field. So these will be techniques for gathering extra energy and spiritual awareness to facilitate ease and grace in your life. So there'll be, different of these, not just movements, but we're going to be working with some of the mudras and some of the encodes. And I hope by then that I actually have them. I have kind of a little mini book of encodes. I think I have got 40 or 50 done, which I hope to publish in a book soon. But learning to use, like even today, when something feels like the energy is not moving and I'm not getting it, I will just spontaneously move into these mudras, which many of them are moving mudras. They're two-handed. And 1, 2, 3, and boom, the energy shifts. So applicable over eons. These hand movements, these hand mudras are very, very powerful. So we're going to introduce you to those. And then the transitioning from human density to quantum frequency. We're going to learn how to observe ourselves in the moment and then recognize when we're in ego, personality, karma, mental, and how to instantly realize the true self in that moment. Now, will it last? It may not, but if you apply these things, it's really powerful because it keeps bringing you back to presence. Now, that workshop is called the Corridor. I want to give you the kind of the 4 basics and in the background how we got there, but there's these other things having to do with how we lock onto reality and how we shadow components, and also kind of may or may not get into base inclinations, but there's other components of how humans behave and what they do. And if people are interested, then, even if there's just 4 people, we'll do a workshop for you. Okay. And then again on a Thursday, activating personal spiritual purpose. So this is really like the tune up for like doing that work we do in the full moon and new moons. So understanding personal spiritual purpose, and that's becoming a spiritual warrior, working for the good of all, so that one might master the little self to realize the true self in every moment. And for every person who does that, they upgrade 10,000 people on the planet. Imagine if you realizing yourself upgrades 10,000 people. I think it's phenomenal. I'm all for it. And the word warrior, I'm like, like I went to see this friend that I've known for many, many years, and he's shaman, channel, etc., etc. And he says, yep, you're upgrading now to your highest thing, which is spiritual warrior. And I'm like, how about like special priestess or goddess or something like that? I'm like, that sounds very masculine, But what I came to understand is the spiritual warrior is the one who works for the good of all. And my life just, it just changed. within a week, just 90 degrees. Just like this is what I am here to do. Okay. And finally, accelerating your personal evolution with vibration, sound, and mantras. So we're going to learn quantum speak. Quantum speak. So Om is quantum speak. Sri is quantum speak. Ra is quantum speak. And these are the basis of the Egyptian language and the Indian language. So we're going to learn how to work with those vibrationally and, you know, have that be, I mean, even today, I'm waking up and meditating in a series of those quantum words came to me, and I said them and just changed things instantly. So this is what I want to give you, these tools, and you might really like this set of tools, but this one here, that's okay, because we're a group, and each of you will bring a strength to the group. Okay, so I'm going to send you the notes, but after this intro, are you ready, willing, and able to initiate and commit to your path of self-realization with or without the Immortality Club? Just think about that. Are you ready to open to the direction of your soul and inner guidance? Right? Are you ready to honor the group field? See, with discipline, respect, and integrity. So, in other words,
Come on, I need you to get down.
okay, I
Come on,
think,
get down.
honey,
Get down.
you need to mute on that. I think that's Lily. You need to mute because we heard you.
Sorry, it's the cat. He keeps muting and unmuting.
Well, that's because he's your ally. He's like, I have something to say. Okay, the last one to me is the most important. The group field will help you accelerate your evolution and support you on your journey, but you got to realize that you have this kind of, like what you're bringing to it is powerful and empowerment of your commitment and intent to be there. So if you get this is it, you can't go, Thursday night, I don't really want to go. It's not honoring the you, and it's not honoring, but it's not honoring the field. Me, I'm here to serve, so it doesn't upset me, but I know that commitment is commitment, and that's where you get the most mileage. Now, occasionally something happens. That's why I'm taping it. Okay. And then this is going to be your affirmation. So I'm going to send you this, and when you get off and when you get this in your email, then I want you to think about this, and then I want you to print this out, and I want you to do a little, if you're like, yes, I love this, I love what I'm hearing, I want you to sit down, light a candle, do a little sage, do a little ceremony, and do this kind of ceremonial commitment affirmation initiation. It'll be your own little self initiation. Okay, so kind of winding down here, having the privilege of being the purveyor of this most wonderful information is to impart these sacred teachings that I've been gifted with over 33 years to you, a group that will assist each other in assimilating them, utilizing them on their spiritual path, and anchoring them on the planet for future spiritual beings. The primary focus of this training is not only to enhance your health, well-being, and spiritual evolution, but to train you to be able to engage as planetary healing practitioners. Okay, so I'm going to send this to you, but should you really feel a calling for this? Not much is needed. You got to sign up, bring a blank notebook, go get one that's pretty, one you really like. You're going to need a binder to place your notes and homework that I'll send you after class, and you want to organize it. And you're in attention, so you need to be fed and hydrated, and then, just your commitment to show up. Anyway, let me know if you're interested, and it's just really good to be with you. Anybody have anything that they just want to share that's for the group? Any insights or experiences before we sign off? Okay, Lily?
I just would like to share that I have done a lot of work with Valerie over the years, and it's been phenomenal. And I'm in awe of the information that comes in and the beauty of the work that gets done in the groups with Valerie as the leader.
Okay. Thank you for that, Lily. Thank you for that. And I hope to hear from all of you. And you can always email me questions if you're feeling a little shy. Okay. I'm going to sign off, and blessings to you all, and blessings to our country.